Welcome once again to San Diego Sports Talk. Coach John Quintero with you, breaking it all down around the San Diego sports world. And, of course, this time of year, we really focus hard on our San Diego Padres. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Padres a little up and down over the weekend. They got beat Thursday night, came back with wins on Friday and Saturday, and then lost the final game to split that four-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I want to remind everyone, if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're up and running, and we've had really a lot of positive comments. No matter where I've gone over the last 3 weeks, people said, "Oh, man, you got your podcast up and running. Really enjoying it. I listen to it at work, or I watch it before I go to bed at night after a Padre game," and we certainly appreciate all the great support. Now, reminder, you can find it also on Facebook, John Quintero. We always put the link up there, and on X. You can follow me on X at Coach Quintero44. Also, if you have questions, you can always send me questions via Facebook and X, and I'm pretty good about getting back in a timely fashion. So, again, it's a YouTube channel, San Diego Sports Talk, John Quintero, and you can get all the past shows as well. Well, let's get into our San Diego Padres. Thursday night, they lost a tough 4-3 decision. Randy Vasquez got off to a rough start, and that's been a little bit of a problem for Randy. He gets off to that tough start, and then he settles in. And I thought overall he pitched pretty well. And I've been talking on these podcasts about, I think Randy Vasquez can really help this ball club. As long as he trusts his stuff and is aggressive and attacks the strike zone. Now, the other night, once again, slow start. He ended up going 6 2/3, giving up 6 hits and 3 earned runs. Didn't walk a batter, struck out 3, hit a batter. Also committed a balk in the ball game. But after the second inning, he settled in and did a heck of a job. He gave up that RBI double to Christian Walker in the top half of the first inning. Then he gave up back-to-back home runs in the second inning to the struggling Eugenio Suarez and Gabriel Moreno, outstanding catcher, who's having a tough time swinging the bat for the Diamondbacks. And then after Randy exited, Jeremiah Estrada came in. And I don't know, he might be trying to do a little bit too much. He set that all-time Major League record a week ago with 13 consecutive strikeouts. He came in the other night and was throwing more than pitching, and really struggled in the ball game and ended up getting tagged for the loss. His first loss of the year. He's 2-1 on the year. Won a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits, a run. It was earned, a walk, a strikeout, and then they brought in Enyel De Los Santos, who I think overall has done a pretty good job. He went 1 inning with a walk, didn't allow any runs. Adrian Morejon, 1 inning, a hit, a walk, a strikeout, and Adrian's throwing the ball really well. And the big thing with him is keeping him healthy. He's a guy the Padres spent a lot of money on in that international draft several years ago, and he's been up and down and all around with injuries, but it looks like he's healthy. Padres are still pitching him in certain situations, not letting him go back-to-back, really trying to protect this young guy. And so far, so good. It's gone very, very well for him. A couple of notes from that game the other night. Fernando Tatis, a big night, 3 for 5, a double. Manny Machado pinch hit in the bottom of the 8th, hit that little roller back to the pitcher with runners in scoring position, and was out at first base. That's all we saw Manny on Thursday night. That's all we saw him. He just now is listed day-to-day. He may play in the Oakland series, but again, it's going to depend on how he wakes up, how he feels when he gets to the ballpark and goes through all the treatment. Got to get him back in there. Kyle Higashioka, the veteran catcher, hit his 3rd homer in the ball game. So the Padres, they lose on Thursday night, so that made it 5 games in a row they'd lost. Then they come back on Friday night, and they pound out 14 hits and drill Arizona 10-3. Snapped the 5-game losing streak. They jumped on the starter, Brandon Pfaadt. That's the problem with Arizona. They don't have any of their big guys. Zach Gallen's not pitching right now. Jordan Montgomery pitched the ball game prior to getting to San Diego, and he's been awful after signing a free agent contract. He hasn't been as bad as Blake Snell's been with San Francisco, but Montgomery, the day before they got to San Diego on that Wednesday, he got booed off the mound over in Arizona. He got knocked out real early. He hadn't pitched well, and Merrill Kelly's been hurt. So the Padres went against not a great rotation over the weekend for the Diamondbacks, and then they took them to school on Friday and Saturday. So the Padres win Friday night 10-3. Ha-Seong Kim, a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Earlier in the ballgame, Fernando and Jerks and Profar went back-to-back in the 1st inning with home runs. Michael King, pretty good outing once again, 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs. Walked a batter, hit a batter, 5 strikeouts. Picked up the win 5-4 with a 3.58 ERA. As long as he doesn't get wild, and that was a great sign the other night. He only walked 1 batter and struck out 5. Yeah, he hit a batter, but that's going to happen every once in a while, the way these guys crowd the plate and dive into the ball. Michael King has been a real blessing for the Padre rotation. He's been very, very consistent overall. A couple of other notes in that game. Luis Camposano finally starting to swing the bat, 3 for 4 that night with his 11th double. Profar overall, 2 for 5 in the ballgame, his 12th double, his 9th home run, doing a really nice job. Padres that night were 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. The Diamondbacks 0 for 5 that night. And man, what a crowd, 40,341. Padres, the fans, your fans have been absolutely incredible. Okay, Saturday night, Padres jumped all over the Diamondbacks. I mean, they just absolutely torched them. Ryan Nelson started. He went at 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, walked 4 in that game. Then they went to the left-hander Logan Allen, and he was even worse. 1 inning, 6 hits, 6 earned runs. And the Padres pounded them 13-1. Some notes in that ball game. Matt Waldron, and we're going to talk about Matt a little bit later on in the program, but he was perfect through 4 innings, 12 up, 12 down, loaded the bases in the 5th, worked out of it, allowed only 1 run. Ha-Seong Kim, Jake Cronenworth, each drilled 3-run homers in the ball game. Overall, Waldron, 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, improved to 4-5, dropped his ERA down to 3.76. Stephen Kolek, nice bounce back effort, 2 innings, a hit, a walk, 3 strikeouts. And Johnny Brito, 1 inning, retired the side on 9 pitches. So the Padres had taken 2 out of the first 3. And then Sunday, you figured Padres, they got the young right-hander, Adam Mazur, making his 2nd major league start. His first at Petco Park, coming off a really nice outing in his debut last week up in Anaheim. But they jumped all over him. 3 innings, 8 hits, 8 runs all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, gave up a homer, threw 82 pitches in 3 innings. And you go back to his first start against the Halos, 6 innings, 2 hits, and 1 run. A little bit more formidable lineup. Mazur will be in the rotation until Darvish comes back. And he'll get, I would imagine, 1 more start. But he probably needs a little bit more work down in the minor leagues. I mean, the kid has a shot. There's no doubt about it. But you're bringing him up from Double-A and Triple-A. He pitched just barely in Triple-A this year. But, he got his feet wet, had a great performance against the Angels, and got beat up pretty good the other night. And his command is just not there yet. And, there's some things he's got to work on. But he's got a chance. He's got a chance to help this ball club, whether it be this year or in the coming years, but a real rough one and still a little bit green. But you know what? Even guys like Brito, who's starting to find himself, a guy like Stephen Kolek, who's a Rule 5 guy from Seattle, he's had his ups and downs, but got a good arm, got some good possibilities. Randy Vasquez, a guy that hadn't pitched a whole lot in the big league level with the Yankees prior to coming to San Diego. He's getting better. But you're hoping you're going to be a playoff team. And we're going to take a look at the National League West standings and the wild card a little bit later on in the program. But guys just need experience. And sometimes you can get it if you got a bad ball club, you can get it at the big league level. When you got a good ball club, and the Padres, and I think we all agree, the Padres are a playoff caliber team, even though they drive you crazy. From one night to the next, they look great. And the next night, they look like they're a second division ball club. But I think on this ball club, Mazur will fill in until they can round the rotation out, getting Darvish back in there. So Sunday they get beat 9-3. They get out hit 15-7. 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Fernando, 1 for 4, his 12th homer of the year. Jurickson Profar, 2 for 4, his 10th homer of the year. He got 43 RBIs. Arizona, the thing that was frustrating on Sunday for me, Arizona had a bullpen day, and they used 7 different pitchers. Scott McGuff started. He went 2/3 of an inning, and he was out of there. And then they went to a parade of pitchers after that. Those bullpen days always tick me off when you get beat because those teams are just trying to stay competitive and see if they can win late in the ball game. But Arizona got the better of the Padres, so the Padres dropped that, so they split the 4-game series. Now let's take a look at a couple 3 players here. I want to start with Fernando because I don't think to this point Fernando's had a great year, or I should say, the way I want to preface it, it hasn't been the year that you and I would think Fernando would have. Now, I know he's got the 12 home runs, but he's really starting to heat up. And Fernando Sunday extended his hitting streak to a career high 15 games, and he's starting to get it going. No question about it. But, after you go back a few years when he hit those 42 home runs, led the National League in home runs, we've got these expectations. We got the expectations of Bebo going from first to third, throwing guys out at third or at the plate. And he just hasn't been that electric to me this year. Maybe I'm expecting too much, and I probably am, because I think the world of this kid's talent. I really do. But he's starting to put it together and got that average up to 281. The other guy that I want to talk about, and then we're going to talk about Matt Waldron, I want to talk about Robert Suarez. Robert Suarez has been unbelievable this year. Unbelievable. And I realized the Padres, wasn't available on that Sunday when Yuki Matsui blew that game and gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. I realized the Angels swept the Padres at Anaheim last week, and Suarez didn't get in. So he didn't pitch in the last game in Kansas City. He didn't pitch in either of the 3 games up in Anaheim. And he didn't pitch in any of the 4 games against the Diamondbacks. Now, I realize the Padres in their 2 wins, they were 2-5 last week, by the way. I realize that they were blowouts. But normally, the manager will ask a reliever, the closer, hey, do you need an inning of work? And Mike Schilt very well may have asked Robert Suarez, do you need an inning of work? And Robert's, no, I'm fine. Now, you can look at this a couple of different ways. Suarez will, be staying healthy, hopefully. Hopefully he is healthy, and that's not why he didn't pitch at least 1 inning, just to get some work in. And maybe he just wanted the time off, and he works in the bullpen and does his pregame work, and, but he's always available, hopefully. The Padres have not said he's not available. But it's kind of unusual for a closer not to pitch for 8 days. That's a little bit of a concern. I'm anxious to see what happens in the Oakland series because nothing's been said. Nobody's brought it up. Talk show hosts in San Diego haven't brought it up. I'm bringing it up right now. I hope Bob Suarez is healthy because he's been lights out, absolutely lights out. But it's kind of unique that he wouldn't even get even an inning of work and even in a blowout. It's just been a little bit strange to me, and nothing's been said. Nobody's asked Mike Schilt about it. So we'll keep our eye on that one. The other guy I wanted to give an attaboy to is Matt Waldron. Matt Waldron, I don't think you and we didn't really expect a whole lot out of this guy. We saw him a year ago, and last year, pitched in 8 games. He had 6 starts, a 1-3 record, and a 4.35 ERA. Gave up 39 hits in 41 1/3 innings. I don't think we were really expecting a whole lot out of him. And I think he's been absolutely fantastic. In his last 7 starts, his ERA is under 2. Under 2. And on the year, being basically the 5th starter. And you can look at Randy Vasquez being the 5th guy now, but Waldron was the 5th starter. Guy's been fantastic. You couldn't ask any more of a guy in the 4th or 5th spot in the rotation. He's 4-5 with a 3.76 ERA and a WHIP of 1.23. 13 starts, 69 1/3 innings, 64 hits, 68 strikeouts. Matt Waldron, I like watching this guy pitch. He's got a repeatable delivery, and he throws strikes. And that knuckleball, when he gets ahead, that knuckleball is devastating because he uses a changeup. As long as he's hitting his spots with that 90, 91 mile an hour fastball, maybe 92 if he humps up, he's doing a hell of a job. He's a fun guy for me to watch pitch. You know why? He's very workmanlike. He's very determined out on the mound, and he goes at hitters. He doesn't try to nibble. When he nibbles, he gets in trouble. But when he's working ahead, he throws a lot of first pitch strikes. He's doing a hell of a job. We need to praise this guy. He's done a heck of a job for the Padre. I've been very impressed, and he continues to get better. I mean, his last 7 starts have been lights out, absolutely lights out. So those are 3 guys I wanted to talk about. Okay, now we're going to get to all-star candidates because I think the Padres, they've got a couple of guys that can get the job done. There's no doubt about it, and hopefully we're going to get at least 2, if not 3. I think the first guy we got to talk about is Bob Suarez. And there's no reason not to bring him to the All-Star game. And think about this. Everybody was worried about, well, Josh Hader's not going to be back. Can Bob Suarez do it? Well, Bob Suarez last year was never the right Robert Suarez from 2022. You know, he hit the ground running in 2022, did a heck of a job. Last year, got hurt early in the year, remember in spring training, and really, I don't think was ever really completely 100%. But he went to work during this offseason. He's been absolutely spectacular. I love this guy. I liked him in spring training when I first saw him. You know what's amazing? He had never pitched in a professional organization in Major League Baseball. He pitched in Mexico. He pitched in Japan. Nobody had ever signed him with Major League Baseball. No organization had ever signed him until the Padres signed him out of Japan. Guy's been spectacular. 25 games, he's 2-0, 17 for 17 in save chances. 26 innings this year. He's given up 13 hits, 2 runs, 6 walks, 24 strikeouts. The whip's 0.73. Hitters against Robert Suarez hitting 148. He's got an ERA of 0.69. He's going to the All-Star game, as long as he's healthy. He's going to the All-Star game. The other guy that I think right now is a slam dunk for the All-Star game, Jurickson Profar. And every day that goes by, Jurickson Profar is making more money. Remember, he signed a 1-year deal with the Padres for $1 million. Now, this is one player that has exceeded his contract. A lot of these guys don't exceed their contract. This guy's done a heck of a job. He's made himself into one hell of a player. Now, remember when he was a young kid coming up with Texas, there were 2 years in a row where he was the #1 prospect in all of baseball. He got derailed with injuries, ineffective play, got jettisoned out of Texas, went to Oakland, spent a couple of years up there playing for Bob Melvin. Then he shows up in San Diego and really kind of got his career going. And then left a year ago when he opted out of his contract, went to Colorado. Complete disaster. Ended up getting DFA'd. And I remember saying on the radio show when he got DFA'd, I go, well, he'll be with the Padres shortly. Following day, Padres signed him to a minor league contract. He spent very little time in El Paso and was with the big league ball club, came up, did a nice job, got his season on track. And then this year he's hit the ground running. This guy epitomizes what a baseball player is all about. He goes to work. He played winter ball. He loves the game of baseball. He's worked with Fernando Tatis Jr.'s father down in the DR, and he continues to make himself a better ball player. To this point, Jurickson Profar in 69 games this year has 76 hits, a .325 average, one of the best in baseball, .420 on base percentage, 12 doubles, 10 home runs, slug .504, and an OPS of .924. No doubt, the guy ought to be going to an All-Star game. Now, I think Luis Arraez got a real good chance to go to the All-Star game, one of the top hitters in baseball. Last week, he was the top hitter in baseball average-wise. But I'll be honest with you, if it comes down to Luis Arraez or Jurickson Profar, I think Profar's earned it. And I think Arraez has earned it, but I think Profar, with his power numbers and what he's done overall offensively, I mean, he's getting on base at a .420 clip. That's a heck of an effort. The other guy that's making a real push now, and I think Major League Baseball would love to have him, would be Fernando Tatis Jr. Let's face it, there are a lot of Tatis jerseys. They run the MLB network commercials with Fernando doing all the crazy hijinks that he does, running the bases, hitting mammoth home runs, making throws from the outfield. Kids want to see Fernando. Fans want to see Fernando in the All-Star game. And Fernando's starting to make a case for himself. I was looking at his numbers after the final game against the Diamondbacks. 69 games, same as Profar, got 76 hits, a 281 average. On base percentage, solid, 359. 12 doubles, a triple, 12 homers, OPS of 826. Just to show you how good Profar has been, Fernando's is at 826 and Profar is at 924. I mean, the thing about Profar, he's been so consistent, and Fernando really in the last 15 games has started to heat up. And hopefully he stays heated up. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I think the Padres, minimum of 2, maximum of 4 on the All-Star game. You know, normally, recent past, we've been getting pretty much a relief pitcher, and he gets in there and throws an inning, and that's our Padre All-Star. But I think legitimately this year, we got a chance to get 2 minimum and 4 maximum. We'll wait and see, because you got the Braves, you got the Dodgers, you got the Phillies. You know they're going to take a bunch of the different spots. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Okay. One of my favorite guys all time covering the Padres. He's a great guy. He spent 2 different tours of duty here in San Diego, is Mark Kostay. He's the manager of the Oakland Athletics, and he's coming to town. Mark spent 2 different times with the Padres, also spent some time in the Padre front office, as well as the Padre hitting coach. A marvelous baseball man. Anybody that's ever been around Mark Kostay would know that he was destined to be a major league manager. He got the opportunity in Oakland, has taken that opportunity. It's not gone easy. He's had some tough years, but they've stuck with him because he's brought a lot of young kids along to make them big league ball players. This Oakland A's team will roll into town with a 26-41 record. They're 4th place right now in the AL West. They're in front of the Angels. So that ought to tell you something right there. I mean, the Angels beat the Padres 3 straight last week. Well, let's not lay down against the Oakland Athletics. Oakland at home this year has been 15-20, but on the road, and that's where they're going to be playing the Padres at Petco Park. They're 10 games under 500 at 11-21. Mark Kostay will bring in a ball club that dropped 2 of 3 at home over the weekend to the Toronto Blue Jays. A couple of guys to watch for. Former Padre outfielder, didn't spend much time here, spent more time in AAA than he did at the big league level, only had a few games with the Padres. Brent Rooker putting together a really nice season, making a push for the All-Star game, hitting 270 with a 356 on base percentage, 13 homers and 40 RBIs. He's kind of the guy you want to stay away from. He's swinging the bat pretty well. And one guy I hope we don't see is their closer, Mason Miller. So far this year, Mason Miller, 25 years of age, the closer for Oakland. He's 1-0, 12 saves, a 2.12 ERA, a whip of 0.84 in 29 2/3 innings. He's given up only 14 hits. He has a tendency to get a little wild, 11 walks, but how about this? In 29 2/3 innings, he struck out 55 batters this year. I mean, this guy, he flat out brings it. He will routinely hit 102 on the gun, and he's hit 103.4. I mean, this guy brings heat incorporated. Mason Miller, keep your eye on him. Hopefully we don't see him in the 3 games against the Padres. I want to give you the pitching matchups, and then we're going to take a look at the standings a little bit and see where the Padres are at this point in time. Okay, Monday night, 6:40 start, 22-year-old right-hander Joey Estes. This is a kid, one of them that came over from Atlanta a year ago in the Matt Olson deal with the Braves. So Joey Estes, 22 years of age, 2-1 and a 4.67 ERA, going against Padre right-hander Dylan Cease, 5-5 and a 3.51. Tuesday night, 6:40 as well. It'll be 28-year-old left-hander J.P. Sears, 4-5 with a 3.93. He can be tough. Going against right-hander Randy Vasquez. Vasquez throwing the ball really well right now, 1-3 with a 5.40 ERA. Be getaway day for the Padres. It'll be a 1:10 start. 27-year-old left-hander Hogan Harris. He's pitched in 4 games this year with 2 starts, no record. And so far this year, he has thrown 20 1/3 innings with a 2.21 ERA. So he's not going to go real deep in that ball game. And the Padres will counter with right-hander Michael King, 5-4 and a 3.58 ERA. Padres are going to be off on Thursday. Then they go out on the road. They've got 6 games, 3 in Citi Field against the New York Mets. And we know the Mets have had a tough year to this point. And then they'll finish up next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, taking on the red-hot Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies have just had an incredible start to their season. So that's where we're at right now. Before we get out of here, I want to take a look at the National League West standings, and we'll take a look at the wild card as well. The Padres, pretty much hanging around that 500 mark. It was very disappointing that they couldn't win that final game on Sunday, but the Dodgers went in and took the first 2 games against the Yankees, minus Juan Soto. Yankees bounced back, took the final game, so the Dodgers went 2 out of 3 at Yankee Stadium. They're sitting at 41-26. They've done very well on the road at 20-14. They're playing better at home, 21-12. Padres now at 34-35. 8 games back. And again, Padres got to play better at Petco Park. They're 15-21 right now. San Francisco, they had kind of a tough weekend. They're 8.5 games back at 32-34. The Diamondbacks hanging in there, only a game and a half back of the Padres for second place at 31-35. And then you've got the Colorado Rockies at 23-42. Colorado, once again this year, they'll try to be the spoiler in the division. Let's take a look at the wild card here. And once again, the Padres right there in the wild card, but you'll notice some teams are starting to pick it up a little bit. I mean, when you look down, even the Mets are only 3 games back in the wild card. The Washington Nationals hanging in there, a game and a half back. The Diamondbacks, a game back. Then you got the Pirates, a half game back. But look at the Padres. Padres are there, but they got to start putting together a little bit of a winning streak at 34-35. The Giants, the Reds playing much better baseball. The Reds really have turned it on the last week. They've won 8 of their last 10. Cubs are hanging in there. The Cardinals are starting to play better. And remember, that division, I think Milwaukee's going to win the division, but the Cardinals are starting to put some things together as well, even though they dropped 6 out of their last 10. And the Pirates, I don't think the Pirates can stay in it. They'll probably pedal off a couple of their good young players for more prospects, I would imagine. But the wild card race is going to be wide open. And, boy, if the Padres could just find a way to eke over that 500 mark and stay over that mark and, get to 4 or 5 games over 500, they're going to be in really good shape. In fact, when you take a look at this right now, who knows? With under 100 games to be played this year, you may have a team or two that gets in with a losing record. That wouldn't be good for baseball. But those are the look at the standings. Again, Padres open up series Monday night, Monday through Wednesday against Oakland. Then they go out on the road. Hey, I want to thank everyone. And, hey, just a quick reminder, we're on YouTube, our YouTube station, Sports Talk, San Diego Sports Talk. Coach John Quintera. And again, you can always go to my Facebook page, John Quintera. We put the link up on that, as well as on the X. And my handle on X, at Coach Quintera 44. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate all the great support. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy Padre baseball. Bye-bye.